What's going on, guys? So I got the truck in the garage now, and suddenly the garage feels a lot smaller. So we're getting into the first major step of doing the V8 swap, and that involves taking some stuff apart and making it worse so that way we can make it better. Let me show you what I'm working with here. So okay, this is where I have the room in here. We have a little bit of room up here, and just little bits of room here and there, and that's maximum. So, you know, plenty of space. Let's go ahead and crack this hood. This is the victim in question here. So it looks pretty decent. I just went through the car wash and actually had my brother do some detailing on this not too long ago. This would have happened a little sooner, but I've kind of postponed it. I've needed the truck for a few things, and one of those things is the new tire machine I got, which if you've watched, it should be the video right before this. I got a whole tire shop set up, like the legit tire machine, electronic balancer, all that, and obviously I needed a truck to go pick that large stuff up. So that video is out there if you're interested, and it's a very useful vehicle. So we got to try to make this as quick as possible, but I really want this to be as right as possible. So basically I'm just gonna have to hustle. Before we start tearing into that, I did go out and I played with it a little bit, and I got some footage for you guys. Check out these clips where we seen just how much beef she had in her. Can't even do burnout. Come on, girl. And the draggy says that we turned in a blazing 17.27 second quarter mile at 78 miles per hour. Okay, and you know I couldn't just leave it hanging like that. So I found a video that I took from earlier this year when it was still cold out, and so the tires weren't as sticky. And watch this one, it turned out a little better. All right. Y'all know we got to do one last burnout with this motor. That's all she's got, then it falls on its face. All right, so we're gonna dive into everything it's gonna take to get this engine and trans out of here, so that way we can get started on putting our V8 in there. And then I'm gonna go over some of the things I've already learned that might be challenges. We're gonna jump into all that, so stick around. Okay guys, so let's talk about what we're diving into here. So we got the 4.3 in here, which is, it runs, it works, but we want an upgrade. The engine has to come out, the transmission has to come out, and to have room, we're gonna leave those things connected. We're gonna take the transfer case off and pull this trans and engine as an assembly. I think that's gonna be the easiest. I pulled some engines at the junkyard, and that seems to always be the easiest way to do it. And then we have to take the front clip off so we have room to swing this out of here. So the first real step to that is we have to drain all the fluids, the oil, transmission fluid, power steering, antifreeze, everything's got to go, everything's got to come out. So you guys know we built this engine up. I got it all covered up so dust wouldn't go in it. I've ran a bunch of clean oil through it. It's pretty much ready to go. I do know the oil pan is most likely not going to work. So, and some of you guys pointed that out in the comments. I think I have the pan that I need on Summit Racing, but I want to wait until we get that out so I can look at the shape and just to make sure that that is going to fit the way that I think it's going to fit. So yeah, she's ready to go. And the transmission, this truck drives around just fine right now, but we're going to have the trans rebuilt, and I'm going to try to get a remanufactured version of the stall converter that's in it right now, because the S10s have something similar to like the Corvette stall converter. It's a little bit higher RPM, but not really high RPM, like, you know, like a race converter. And this thing's going to make a lot of low end torque, so I don't want to go too high, but I don't want the super low ones that would be in like the 1500 trucks. I think I'm gonna basically stick with the converter setup it has now. So basically we're gonna take the trans and converter out, have them rebuilt, slap it on that, slap it all in, you know, slap. All right, so I'm gonna get started. I got a bunch of boring stuff you guys don't need to see, and then I'll catch up with you. Okay guys, so this is after day one here. We're definitely tearing into her. We're approaching the point of no return. I got some big gaps in there. So most of the stuff up here is done. All the wires are disconnected. Most of the fluids are drained. I still got to do the transmission, but I was kind of saving all of the underneath stuff and like do that in its own section. So I wanted to get all this stuff here. And then I have this front clip, but I think I'm gonna move to the transmission and the underneath stuff. There's wiring harness, there's one wire that goes down to the transmission and stuff before I can fully move that out of the way. So I kind of want to do that stuff. And then this front end, I'm gonna take this, the grill, the bumper, that'll be its own project. I think I'm gonna save that pretty much for last. And I think we can keep the fenders on. Hopefully I don't have to do the extra work to take those off. The only thing that I'm still trying to not do is, like I said, the air conditioning. I think I have a chance, once this is all off, I can have that out, connected to the hoses, just kind of let it dangle down, and I'll have all the room I need to swing this out. So I'm going to keep cranking on this though, and we'll see how tore up it is next time I catch up with you. Okay guys, so we're done with like phase 2 here, I'm basically gonna call it. So I already mentioned I had this stuff off. Now I did all of the underneath stuff, was like part 2. I'll crawl down here and give you a shot of what's going on. But basically, you see there's the transfer case. We got that off. Drive shaft's out. We got a bunch of stuff just piling up in the truck here. So nice thing about a truck bed is I've just thrown everything in here and I have all of my floor space. I do want to touch on this exhaust real quick here. So like I said, I cut the ends of this off because they have to be replaced. The stock things are not going to fit on our new headers, and the headers might be in slightly different places than what these were anyways. Now we're gonna move to, these are the like collector ends that came with the headers. Okay, now that's what we have going on. That's all right. So for now, I think the plan, this is already perfectly shaped to go under the truck. I'm gonna put these on at wherever they need to be, get this mocked up, and I'll have to put a reducer on it and get it down to this pipe size and make a nice clean transition. But this, I know, okay? The size, I know, okay? This, what it technically wants is the same size of the back half of the exhaust. So if I change this, I have to change that, because you can't have two pipes of the same size going into a pipe of the same size. It's going to be a restriction. So and that's what my muffler is, and all the way until it Y's out to the two tips. I do have dual exhaust on here. You can see it right there. So those are 2 1/4. So technically I have 2 of those, so I could support like maybe a 3-inch exhaust. Step it up. I think this is 2 1/2. So step it up, keep the same tips, but I just had all of this done. It costs a lot of money. This is really the only piece of stock exhaust left, actually. And I'm really curious what this resonator is going to sound like. I think it might give it kind of a unique sound. And then, so I basically get to test it. If I like the way it sounds, then I'll put some kind of resonator in the future system or something. But for now, we're gonna just make this work. And yeah, I know. Okay, so, okay, moving on from that. And this is what we got going on down here. So, not the best lighting situation, but you can see there's a trans opened up, transfer case is off. There's no drive shafts down here. All the hoses, fuel lines, everything's off, dangling. It's just chilling on that trans mount. It's not actually attached at all. Okay guys, we are done with the 3rd and final stage. So, as I almost tripped, the whole front end is ripped out of this. Everything's hanging out. So we got step 1 done, everything up there. Step 2 was everything underneath. I had to come back for a couple things here and there just as I found them. Sneaky little things. But this whole core is out. It started out easy, but there was a lot of just little stuff like attached, and trying to get it out with these fenders are actually pretty sturdy considering nothing's really holding them right now. But we got it out. So pretty much the 4th step is to just grab onto this thing and start pulling it out, and hopefully that goes pretty smooth. I'm sure I'll find something that's still connected somewhere, but I think I got 99% of everything. I did get the AC core pulled to the side. It looks a little scary, but it's not leaking, and as long as I'm really careful with it, I can put it right back, which is cool because I really didn't want to go through the complication of having this like completely restored. For the moment, that looks like it's working. Next time you see this, we're gonna have everything hooked up, and we have the cherry picker in here. That's gonna be the next step. Okay guys, so we are starting off fresh today. The last attempt was a little bit of a frustrating fail, so this is where we've left off here. The engines, we just set it down and walked away. We have a new plan though, and I really think, well, let's go over what we did here. So we tried just pulling it out. That didn't work. The axle is in the way. The way this oil pan's shaped, it's kind of like sculpted to be in there. So trying to get it up over that, and everything's already so tight back here, there's just like nothing you can do. And that where it's sitting right now is like as far as we can get it out without just, you know, starting to just destroy things, which is not what we want to do. So I'm trying to think there. We also took the cross member out so that way the trans could swing down. I was thinking maybe if it swung down we could get it out, and we're just hitting on more other things now. It was just a fight for a few inches. So our plan today is we're gonna see if we can lift the body up. And it sounds like a lot, but we already have the whole front end off. The fenders are just kind of hanging here, and I don't need to lift it much. If I can, let's see, basically kind of tilt it up a little bit, I think I'll bust all the body bolts out. We're like jack this side up, shove a couple like 2x4s in between the frame and the body, and then, you know, jack that side up and put some spacers in there, and it should get us enough. I think I literally need like maybe, I don't know, 3 inches at least, and I think we can wiggle this out of here. A little scary doing that, but I don't think it'd be that bad. So we did scoot the truck back, and I finally cleaned up all the absorbent I had down, because obviously this is a pretty messy project, and I was getting tired of scooting under there, and it'd all get stuck to me, and it's just adding to an already frustrating situation. So okay, so we're hoping for a better take 2 here, so let's get into it. Really fighting. Yeah. Okay, we got it out.
We got it out.
Man, that was way more of a project than I thought it was going to be. That is just crazy where I thought pulling it out was going to be the easiest part. And, you know, like cutting this exhaust and stuff where you're laying under there, I thought that was all the hardest parts. This is going to be easy. Usually this is the easy part. But you know, that's been on full-size trucks. This is a little smaller. And the body, lifting the body was definitely something we had to do. So you can actually see where we got two 2x4s just on those front like pads of the mounts there, just to lift, just kind of cock the front of this up. And that 100%, like you pretty much have to, I don't know how you would get it out without doing that. So, and it really wasn't that hard. So definitely recommend doing that. Once we lifted that up and we moved this chain, I had this chain up here, and now they're both just wrapped around the manifolds. That's usually the way I've done it when I've pulled other engines, but this was a lot stubbier being a V6, so I thought maybe it would balance better up there, and it was just it wasn't helping. So chain like that and body lift. And the axle is lower. I think even with the body lift, knocking that down and as much as I could, it's definitely a few frustrations getting to this point. So everything worked out though. We got it out. That's all behind us now. So now we get to move on to the fun stuff, which is take this trans off. We'll go drop it off and get it rebuilt. Everything worked on it. Everything here worked just fine. We'll get that rebuilt. We do just. I'm gonna mention it because I know people hate on 4L60s, and I know. We do have the Corvette servo already, and then also we had a tune that firmed up the shifts and supposedly cut down on clutch wear. And then I think I'm going to ask when I have it rebuilt, there's a sun shell somewhere in here. There's like a stronger one you can replace it with. And it's like something you can just, I don't think it costs a lot, and it's something you can pretty easily do while you're rebuilding it. So I'll see if I can get that thrown in there. And then we'll have a mildly upgraded 4L60. That engine's not going to be that insane, so I think it'll work out. Yeah, post your comments what you guys think. Is a 4L80 gonna fit? Because they're shaped a little differently. So I think this is the best route, trying to just beef this up a little bit and stick with it. And then our engine, I don't need it anymore. I'll rob some parts off of it, whatever I need. And like my nice coil pack here. And probably just list it for sale and see if I can get some money to put back to the project. And then in the meantime here, I do got to get an oil pan ordered, and then some engine mounts that are going to be specific to this swap. We'll get into that on the next video. And I'll probably push this out of here and just like kind of pressure wash it and clean it up while I have this access that I'm never going to have again. So I think that's pretty much it for this one. Hopefully next time you see this, we have that trans on the back of there, and we're just throwing all this in here, and we'll see how the transmission rebuild goes. We'll comment on that. But I think that's it for right now. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.